Good evening and welcome once again to this week's episode of It's My Turn Now. So excited to be here with you once again. I don't know how your week has been going. It's been a pretty interesting day for me. It's been quite busy, but God is good anyhow. I want to encourage this. We do every week to invite your friends, your family, let them know It's My Turn Now is on the air. We had a very interesting topic on last week dealing with breast cancer awareness. I thank each and every one of you for your response. So many positive responses that we received regarding the program even after it went off. So we thank you for that each week. What makes this program a success is your participation because it's your turn now. So feel free to come on, let us know what your thoughts are, what's on your mind. Tonight we're talking about relationships, various relationships, and question. I was talking to someone not too long, and the question came up. Young people in general are not getting married like they used to. I remember when we were young, coming up, people were getting married quite often. But it seems as though now, I don't know why. Maybe you can share with me your comments, what your thoughts are. But it seems as though people, in particular young people, are not getting married like they used to. Sis Walden said, praise the Lord, everyone. God bless Sis Walden. If you're on here, please share it. Let us know to share. If you share it, just type in the message. I share it. Thank you, Sis Walden. She said she shared. So I want to know what your thoughts are. Dealing with relationships, your opportunity, you've got a question regarding relationship, let us know what's on your mind. I'd just like to know what your thoughts are. But I wanted to put relationships in the church. But let's talk about people in general. People are not getting married like they used to, even in the church. They're not doing the world. They're not, what we say the world, people, unchurched people are not doing it. But you don't hear about people in the church getting married. I do hear oftentimes about individuals in church say they're dating, they're courting for a long time. So if someone's on here, maybe you're single, let us know what your thoughts are. Is it that the men are not asking young ladies to marry them, the women are not asking? I know, surprisingly enough, many times when I counsel couples and secular couples, a lot of times I'm surprised at how many men have said that I've asked her to marry me, but she doesn't want to marry me. And so there are women that just, it's a total difference than it was when we were coming up. What are your thoughts about that? Some women that said we just want to date. I don't want to marry him. I've had men that said I've asked her to marry me. She will not marry me. And it's not because he's not taking care of her, just for whatever reason. So I just like to know what your thoughts are about relationships. Do you think that people have healthy relationships these days? What type, are people setting boundaries in relationships? Are they not getting married because they just hadn't found the right person, or is because the men are afraid to commit? I think there are a lot of dynamics. There are a lot of things. Some are natural cause. Sometimes people just don't feel like they don't have the financial resources to get married. And times have changed. When I got married some many, many years ago, I did have a job. I was fortunate to have a job. As my wife said, she wouldn't marry me unless I had a job. So I was fortunate to have a job, but in the economy the way it is now, people are losing jobs. It makes it that much more difficult. So I just wonder, we have a lot of single individuals. There's some men out there that just, they're content. They don't want to get married. And that's for various reasons, they don't want to get married. Um, and we have to realize there's some people that are content just dating. They like dating, and everybody's intentions not right. Some people, I don't know if they're, if they honeymoon before they get married, or and decide not to get married. That, unfortunately, that happens a lot. A lot of times in relationships, folks get so close, and next thing you know, they get so calm with each other that they don't see a reason to get married. So now some people don't believe in getting married. So what are your thoughts? I'd like to know, if you're on here, what are your thoughts regarding that married, and what are your thoughts about relationships? Are you in a relationship? Are you in a healthy relationship? Or are you in an unhealthy relationship? You know, um, I deal with so many different situations, so many different issues and relationships. I've in the church and out of the church, and there's problems. I've had situations, and I've had people come to me, um, just throwing something out there. If you knew that you had a friend that may not have been committed in a relationship, would you feel a responsibility to share that with the other person? That might sound like a scenario that's not a real scenario, but that's real. I've had that happen a number of times. As a therapist, I don't, whatever I hear in session is confidential. But I'm talking about I've had individuals who have come to me. This is not as a client, but just as an individual. Say, you know what, I'm kind of a bad situation. I have a friend that they're married. I know the husband's cheating on them. What should I do? How should I respond? These are real life situations. Or I've had people come and say, well, I have a friend. I kind of feel like she's been abused. I feel like, but I don't know whether or not I should address her or not. Those are questions I've been asked, and they're a very valid question. So, what are your thoughts? If you have a friend that you suspect has been being abused by her husband, sometimes now even by the wives, do you think that you should address it? Sometimes, that can be a hard situation um, to deal with. How should that address? And how should the church address various issues when it comes to relationships? I do, and you'll hear me say time and time again, I don't think we talk enough in the churches about relationships. Um, Relationships, families are falling apart, and we're not addressing those situations. You know, um, they have to be addressed. I'm thankful for the churches that I have been invited to, who have allowed me to. My wife and I, we do relationship seminars, and I thank God that God placed in my heart. I don't know when or how. Uh, I guess through the course of you know being doing therapy, couples therapy as a marriage and family, having a degree in marriage and family therapy, that has what caused me to start writing books, because I see on a daily basis where people need help. They need material to help them. Well, there's a lot of marriages that are just, I hate to say it, there are some marriages are dysfunctional. If you have a marriage that's dysfunctional, if you have kids that's in the marriage, then you're gonna have some dysfunction. I talked to someone today, and we're just talking about family relationships in general. If someone wants to chime in regarding why folks aren't getting married, maybe I don't know. It could be a number of reasons. I don't know. If you're single and you're not married, why aren't you married? Some folks say, "Well, I haven't found the right person." Well, are you trying to find a perfect person, or are you trying to find someone who you're compatible with? So ask the question. Maybe that's a good question. Is there such thing as a perfect person? Sometimes people I'm looking for that perfect man, that perfect woman. Well, I don't know if they're gonna find that perfect person who's gonna be perfect. Because if you look for a perfect relationship and you're in the relationship and we all are full of imperfections, then guess what? Um, but when you have a person that loves God and you two are compatible, notice I'm going to say compatible, because a lot of times I've talked to people in church and they say, well, we thought because we were both saved and we get married. Well, guess what? Everybody's not compatible. Just because the person's saved don't mean that you and that person will be able to get along with. I've talked to a lot of people who got married when they were young, especially churches are not as rigid today as they used to be, but we used to be rigid. As soon as you get saved, they feel like you need to get married. You need to get married. That's all I say. Get married, get married. And then you got a whole lot of folks getting married, wasn't in love, might have been lust, but they weren't in love. And so they got married and thought maybe because they got married and they found they had problems. There are a lot of challenges when it comes to being married, and you have to be ready to get married. You have to be ready for the good, the bad, the ups and downs. So I was talking to a person today who was sharing with me, that they like to possibly see a segment of talking about PK, preachers' children, and the challenges they have. So I'm probably do a segment on that sometime soon because I've had that request a number of times. But I think we have to really focus on healthy relationships. The saying, as the family goes, so goes the church. And so we have to understand that the church must strengthen itself when it comes to relationships. The church has to strengthen itself um, and be more diligent when it comes to addressing issues in relationships. If you're on here and you got a comment, you got a suggestion, please let me know what your comment is. Let me know what your suggestion is. I'd like to know what your thoughts are in relationship. Are you in a healthy relationship? Have you been in a healthy relationship? Or have you been in an unhealthy relationship? If there's something that you want to share with us about an unhealthy relationship, what you've learned. Um, Unfortunately, you know, there are a lot of different ideals when it comes to challenges in the church. There are different ideas when it comes to where the people are allowed to get divorced. What are your thoughts? I hear a lot. I hear that a lot. Once you get married, can you get a divorce? There's some people said, no, you cannot get a divorce. You're not free to get married. And some people say, well, you know what? God will forgive anything. So, what are your thoughts? I try to be objective on the program. Do I have ideals or do I have thoughts on? Yes, I do have a lot of thoughts on a lot of subjects, but I like to give you an opportunity to hear what you're saying. I'll let you know that it's your turn to express yourself. So, what are your thoughts on any of those subjects? Maybe there's someone here that's been divorced and you have some comments. Why were you divorced? And there's a lot of reasons. And sometimes when people get divorced, there's always going to be some blame. One person going to blame one person, and somebody going to blame the other person. And if you have a healthy relationship, tell us about what makes your relationship healthy. How come your relationship is healthy? What are you doing to make sure it's healthy? So there are a lot of things I talk to. Um, there's a difference, I think, between people dating in the church and out of the church. Uh, if you just look on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and look the way people carry themselves, the way young ladies carry themselves, there's very little discretion at all. And these women are basically advertising. They say, hey, I'm looking for a man, this is what I got to offer. And the question is, how healthy is that in a relationship? If you can't get a person on your physical looks um, alone. If you get a person based upon looks, you got a problem because looks change. People can pick up weight, people can lose weight. And if you're looking with somebody because they got Coke bottle shape, then you might be disappointed. I've seen men who are toned and physique, and then they get married, and then all of a sudden, boom, that's gone. So, what are some important things that you think a person should look for in a marriage? Let me know. I like to know what your thoughts. Or if you're married and you happen to marry, what is the main ingredient in your relationship that has caused you to have a happy marriage? Give you enough time to address that. If you've got a good marriage or a good relationship, what do you attribute to that? I got a new phone here. Someone stole my phone, um, and I got a new phone, and the phone is buzzing, going off, and I'm not sure why it's going off. So I don't know. I I had a Apple, and I decided to go to an Android. I decided to go to Android. Got one little flip phones because I thought it was kind of cute. I got that, and I'm still not sure if I'm not sure if I'm happy with that or not. I think I might have been happy with the iPhone. I don't know. Um, it's a little flip phone. I guess I'll be satisfied with it. I'm starting to miss my iPhone already. The FaceTime and those features on that. But tell me, if you're in a good marriage or good relationship, what is good about it? What makes your relationship good? Are you just in there? Because some people just in a relationship just to be there. Or if you have a relationship, maybe you're divorced, maybe your loved one has gone on, and you miss them. What do you miss most about them? What made your relationship so special? Just share with us. Give you enough time to respond. Do you think that you hear enough at your church about relationships or groups? Sometimes people just have just group settings to get together. And one of the things I hear, I think it's important that people get together, and sometimes you can find out when you get together with other people that some of the problems that you think are isolated to you, find out some of the other people have some of the same problems. And I talk to many times. I talk to individuals who, uh, in counseling, who have been involved in infidelity in the relationship, and there was something that was missing in their relationship, and that's the reason why they got involved in infidelity, only to find out that after they got into, you heard the 80-20 rule, the person you with has 80% what you want, and you go and give it the 8% for 20%. And a lot of times, they get that 20%, but then they miss the 80%. The best thing that you can do is just work on that. Grab a hold of the 80%, be thankful for the 80%, hold on to 80%, and work with the 20. Work with it. But a lot of times they've gotten at 20%, and then they find themselves miserable because they thought they were getting something and it wasn't the full package. And the devil will deceive you. He'll be thinking, say the green grass is green on the other side. When the grass is not green on the other side, the grass has to be cut. If it's greener because they took more time to fertilize it, maybe you need to take some more time to fertilize your own grass as well. Take that time to focus on that. You know, relationship is only going to be what you make it. If you want a healthy relationship, a good relationship, it's going to be good because you've invested time and resources into it. It's not going to happen. Any healthy relationship, I don't care what type of husband, wife, mother, father, sister, brother, any type of relationship that you have, it takes investing in that relationship. You cannot take any aspect of that relationship for granted. Too often, people take individuals for granted. You've been with this person for so long, and you just take the things they do for granted. I think it's important that we learn to value one another, learn to value each person in a relationship, and not take the other person for granted. So I want to know what your thoughts are. If you're on here tonight, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know I'd like to know what your thoughts are about relationships. Because I have people a lot of times come to me asking about relationships. What makes a good relationship? I want to know what you think makes a good relationship. Okay, if you're on here, please don't forget. I want you to share it, um, and so share it because maybe someone else needs some advice. Maybe someone else has a question. If you got a question, I'm willing to answer your question. If you have a question regarding relationship, let me know. I'm willing to address that question, whatever question may be. What is your question tonight? Like I said, a lot of times, a lot of people are in relationships where they're not happy. What do you do if you find yourself in a relationship where you're not happy? That could be pretty miserable to be in a relationship. There's just some people in a relationship, they just tolerate each other. That would be terrible to be in a relationship. Now, I don't imagine you would come on here and say, you know what, I'm in a relationship. I'm just tolerating my relationship with the person. Um, but I've seen people in relationships, and And before they get out of one relationship, they're talking about the prospect of another relationship. Have already decided who they want to talk to, and they think that they're in the will of God. The devil's out there. The devil will deceive you if you're not careful. The devil will deceive you. You got a healthy relationship. You better work with what you got. Work with who you got. Work with what you got. If you got somebody that loves you, learn how to appreciate that, and just don't take the other person for granted. Too often, again, like I said, we are taking people for granted. We got to make sure that I want to address healthy relationships. One of the things I write in a lot of my books, and I do in seminars, and there are a number of things that affects relationship, and I thought I'd take down a few of those things. One of the things I always tell people: trust. Trust is one of the most important things in a relationship you can have. When you lose trust, man, it's hard to be with somebody that you don't trust. Listen, there's two things I do not like: a thief and a liar. And if a person is lying to me once, twice, they lost my trust. I'm sorry. You may make a mistake one time, but at the second time, I'm very leery of you. When you lose that trust in a relationship, it's important. I was reading said, without trust, everything else falls apart. It is a foundation that allows people to feel safe, open, and connected. Trust takes time to build and seconds to break. I'm gonna say it again, that's so important. And this is not only, and when we talk about relationship, this is not only relationship, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife. It's relationship when you deal with business, when you deal with organization, when you deal with people within a group. I've been in groups working with people that I just didn't trust the person I was working with. And when you're working with somebody, I don't care if it's business, church, organization, groups, clubs, whatever. If you deal with folks that you can't trust, that's a rough situation. I have a problem dealing with people who you don't know if they're telling the truth or they're not. And there are a lot of people out there. There are a lot of people that are in relationships for what they can get out of the relationship. They're not concerned about you. They're not concerned about your well-being. They only say it's about me. It's about what I can get. And in part of the relationship, there's some people that they got to be in charge. If they're not in charge, they if they're not running things, then they don't want to go. Take my ball and bat, and leave. I remember when I was a kid, we playing sports, baseball or basketball, football. There's always that one kid that he had all the toys. He had the baseball, the football, the basketball, and the reason why he got picked because they knew once if he wasn't picked, he was going to take his football, basketball, or baseball bat and was going to go home, and then none of us could play. The rest of us didn't have enough money to get one, and that's how some people are in life. If they don't, if they can't have that way, then they going to take wherever they invest out of it, and so you got to have a healthy relationship that's unselfish. So it says without trust, everything else falls apart. It's the foundation that allows people to feel safe. If you can't trust a person, you're not going to feel safe with her. I don't feel safe dealing with individuals I can't trust. I don't feel safe talking to them because you don't know when they're going to twist what you said. They're going to twist it around. They're going to say something, and if a person doesn't like you, they'll twist it anyway, whether they heard you say it or not, because that's the way they feel about you. So it's important when you're dealing with associate with people that are positive. This is what I say: associate with people that appreciate you and not tolerate you. I'm gonna say it again: associate people who appreciate you and not tolerate you. You never want to try to feel like you got to keep on trying to get someone to believe in you. If a person believe in you, they're gonna believe in you. If they don't believe in you, they're not gonna believe in you. Ain't no sense. You need to associate with folks that appreciate you and value you. Don't waste your time on people that not gonna appreciate you. Tell young ladies all the time: do not waste your time on a guy that does not appreciate you, a guy that makes you feel that something's wrong with you, a guy that makes sure you all have to do something to satisfy him. You know that's just throwing a smoke screen. Uh, uh, they want you to feel like gaslighting you is what they're doing. It's your fault. Everything's your fault. and they're right and you're wrong. And so you don't want to be around. You don't even want to be around somebody. I don't want to be around somebody that I don't feel good around. You want to be around people that are healthy relationships that make you feel good about yourself. People that recognize and appreciate who you are. Those are the type of relationships. I don't care if it's business, social, whatever type of it. You want to be around people that value and appreciate you. You want to have a friend. If you're in a friend, have a friend that celebrates you as equal, not a friend that's a taker. But sometimes people in relationship, they have friendship. Friends, all they do is suck the life out of you. Take, and don't want to add anything to you. Don't want to contribute anything to you in this value. And older I get, the more selective I am as who I consider my friend and who I lend my ear and who I spend time with. Listen, life is short and we don't have a whole lot of time for foolishness. I'm not going to spend time with folks that I got to argue with. I don't have time to argue with folks. Hey, if you want to say you're right. But I'm not going to, why go around? Some folks will go around the same hobby horse, fussing about the exact same thing, complaining about the exact same thing. Why? Tell people stop the madness. Don't be a part of it. If you deal with something like that, let it go. Because you're not going to convince somebody who first of all, a person who's a liar and deceptive, you're not going to convince them because they already know the truth. They just don't want to accept the truth. And certainly don't want you to recognize the truth, so they throw up a smoke screen so you won't know what the truth is. Do not waste your time with folks who don't value you and don't appreciate you. I tell young girls all the time, I say, look, you're pretty, you're beautiful. Don't let some guy make you feel like you're ugly, that you don't look attractive. I've seen so many and have counseled women that are beautiful, and some man has gotten to the man, make them think they're ugly. That's the trick of the devil. You ain't got to constantly try to validate yourself with someone. Just don't do it. Recognize yourself, appreciate who you are. Appreciate your heart, and don't feel like I change. Now, when I say don't change, if it's something negative that you mean this, that, then that's something you can change. But if you know that you got a good heart, you're doing for people, and it seems like you don't do enough, and they're constantly trying to tell you to do more, then the problem lies most likely with the other person, not with yourself. Because some folks, no matter what you do, you will never be able to please that person. I don't care what you do. There's some folks you're not going to be able to please. And so why get caught up with that person? Sometimes people get caught up with a person like that, hoping they'll change. If you know the person's not going to change, they're not going to change. I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to change. Don't get caught up with somebody that you know they're not going to change. You don't need to deceive yourself. Don't fool yourself. How many times, I can't tell you how many times that I've seen relationships where everybody on the outside could see that wasn't healthy, but that person was so close that they couldn't see. But I think sometimes people can't see it, and sometimes they're just deceiving themselves. Sometimes they want it to work so bad that they're in denial. You should not have to force a relationship to work. Let me tell you again, you should not have to force a healthy relationship to work. You shouldn't have to work. It shouldn't be a job. Yes, you have to invest in a healthy relationship, but it shouldn't be like a job. It should be like you're trying to please each other. It's an equal thing. They're trying to please you. You're trying to please them. That's what a healthy relationship. But if it's all about you and you're giving, But then again, I think sometimes people like they always give. You have to be honest with yourself, and know, am I giving? Because I hear a lot of people say I'm always giving, but that's not what the case too. That's the way they feel. If you don't have trust in a relationship, you're not going to feel safe, open, and connected. You're not going to feel it. It's like the old the thing where the exercise where you tell you fall back and catch somebody, let that person catch you. Now I'm telling you, ain't too many people I got that much trust in to catch me. Because some people don't have capacity to catch me. I'm a big man. If I fall down, they may try to, but they may not be able to hold me. And so you got to have trust in the person, in the capability of that person to perform whatever you put the trust in. Because some people are capable of doing something, but they're not capable of doing everything. Some people that you can have a good conversation with, and that's it. And that's mean that because you have a good conversation with them, that they're marriage material. Because you have a good conversation with a person doesn't mean they are a good partner to invest in business with. I had a person one time, true story. I have been selling real estate for 40 years. Selling real estate. Had my license all that time. Had a friend and I, we had decided to get together to open a restaurant. And he knew I sold real estate, knew I took care of business. My degree was, mine was in organizational communication. That was my major in college. And plus, my degree was in business. Plus, I sold real estate. But this person knew their business, the restaurant business. They knew it backwards and forward. So we made an agreement. We're going to go in business. I'm going to take care of the business aspect of the real estate and certain aspects. And he was going to take care of the cooking aspect. We agreed upon that. The brother calls me one day on a Saturday morning. I never forget, just like yesterday. He said, guess what? I said, what? He said, I got us a building. I said, you got us a building? Yeah. And I didn't sign the contract. Got a building. Wait, I said, wait a minute, back up, brother. You tell me you got a building without asking me? You signed a contract without asking me? That ended my trust. No, brother, I can't go no further with you. I can't. You're a good brother. I love you. God bless you. I wish you well. But I can't have that. You can't. Listen, there's some good people, but some people don't know how to take care of business. And so, you don't want to enter into a business relationship with somebody that you know is shady when it comes to business, or you can't depend. I'm glad I found out early in the relationship. So I just, we just couldn't go any further because I lost that trust in him. If you're going to sign a contract and you're not going, and we're supposed to be partners, so no, I let that go. So and that's something you got to know when you're going to get into a relationship and when you're going to let the relationship go. If a relationship is unhealthy, I don't care if it's business, personal, whatever type of relationship is. If it's not a good relationship, you have to know when to hold, when to fold, when to let it go. There's some people you may like, but they're not just a person for you. And I've seen people who or like someone, and they may marry them because they didn't want to hurt their feelings. Listen, if you're in a relationship, y'all engaged to get married, and you realize that it's not right, it's best for you to just say, hey, I got to hurt your feelings, then wreck your life, and you wreck my life as well. And so you got to know, but these are things that you need to know before you say I do. Most of that, some stuff kind of comes up later on as you're dating. But one thing I will tell you, I will not perform a wedding ceremony. I've done it in the past, but I've not done it years. I will not perform a wedding ceremony without some type of pre-marriage counseling. I prefer 6 weeks pre-marriage counseling, but I will not perform a wedding ceremony if I don't do some type of pre-marriage counseling. Because there are a lot of things that are involved that couples don't even think about. Because at that point in the relationship, man, we're just excited to be together. We feel good, and everybody's on the best behavior. But I'm able to pinpoint and bring out some things that I have never counseled a couple in pre-marriage counseling and have not discussed a subject that someone in a relationship said, you know what, I never thought about that. There are a lot of things to consider when having a relationship. Again, trust, communication. Trust takes time to build and second to lose. It's a shame that you can build up a trust with somebody and lose that trust over a foolish mistake, over a lie, or deception. Just be honest. Just be honest. Say the right thing. Do the right thing. Do not be deceptive in relationships. Too many people are deceptive in relationships. Be yourself. Don't be pretentious. I always tell young men, the exact same thing it took to get her, the exact same thing it takes to keep her. So I've seen guys put their best foot forward, they're all elaborate, take them out to the best restaurant, and they on their credit card, giving them false impression that, hey, I got this thing all together, and this young lady thinking, man, this guy's got all together. I don't have to worry about a thing. And then come find out after you get married, this guy just broke as he can be because he's operating on credit cards. Just be real. And sometimes you got to investigate. You know, if a person working a mediocre job, making minimum wage, ain't no way you're gonna be having a brand new car and gonna be able to take you out to a 5-star restaurant, all that on a consistent basis. Not gonna happen. But you know, those are things. Communication. You got, which is my next thing. You got to communicate those things. You got to be willing to talk about the thing. Communication, healthy relationships depend on honest, respectful, empathetic communication. It means listening to understand, not just to respond, and expressing feelings without blame. You got to be able to communicate with another person. If you have someone and every time you try to talk to them, they argue with you, then that's not healthy. You're not communicating. Every time you talk to them and they're really not listening to you, and what I always say, and I say it a lot of times, and most people know me and heard me do relationship seminars or talk about relationship. I talk about reflective listening. You know, you want to get an understanding. Make sure what you're saying and what you're intending to say is actually being heard. And the way to do this is say, um, do you understand what I'm saying? What are you hearing? Ask first, what are you hearing? Because especially if somebody's in the heat of the argument, or somebody's upset, or you just communicate differently. People communicate differently. One thing may mean one thing to one person, and may mean something totally different to another person. Or if you know if you're not sure what a person saying, when you're talking to the person, say, so what am I hearing? That this is what I'm hearing. So what you're doing is letting the person know, first of all, you're listening to what they're saying, and second, that you care enough to know to value what they're saying. So you're saying, so what I'm hearing you say is, and that clarify that gives, if there's a misunderstanding, that gives that individual an opportunity to clarify what they're saying. Reflective listening. So I'm hearing what you say. So that would cut out a whole lot of arguments, a whole lot of disagreements. You know, when I worked at AT&T, um, I've had some managers, I have some good managers, I have had some not so good managers. But I had one manager, she had a habit, a consistent habit saying, "Oh well, you must have misunderstood." No, I didn't misunderstand what you said. You changed around what you said. So I got to the point where finally I would say something to her, and she'd say, "You must have misunderstood." So what I would do every time we have a discussion, I would write an email, and I would copy it, send her an email, and send her boss a copy. Per our conversation, this is what was said. That cut that out altogether because it was in black and white. She couldn't say, "Well, I thought you," and that gave her opportunity. If she said something different than what I was receiving, she at that time had the opportunity to correct it. But there was never a time that she corrected it. So that let me know the times that she was saying I misunderstood it. Uh, she was not being honest, and she was not communicating effectively. So that's two things. That's two strikes. One, you're not being honest, and two, you're not communicating effectively. So that's a problem. Respect. I hear this a lot in relationships. You got to have respect, you know, and respect is a two-way street. Sometimes subordinate person or the person in charge, like the person under them subordinate has to respect them. But people in leadership know you learn how to respect people. You have to respect people regardless. So I don't care. Your title does not exempt you from showing common courage and common respect. I'm gonna say that again. Your title does not exempt you from showing common courtesy or common respect. You got listen. You got to learn how to respect people. There's some people don't respect anybody, and I'm not gonna fool with somebody listen. If I see someone that's disrespecting other people, I don't want to fool with them because eventually they're gonna disrespect you. So I'm not gonna fool with them. I mean, people have to learn respect. Respect means valuing the other person's individuality, their opinion, their boundaries. Now that's important too, because some people have boundaries. If a person has a boundary and you want to push that person past that boundary, you're not respecting their boundary. The person says no, means no. No means no. No don't mean maybe. No don't mean possible. No means no. It may mean no a possible later time, but for right now it means no. So you can't say, well, it's going to be like this later. No, you operate on what's being said then. No means no. Respect a person's boundaries. Respect that person's boundaries. Amen. Respect me again, valuing the other person's individuality. Allow them to be themselves. Uh, I can't be like somebody else. Sometimes you want somebody to be like somebody else. You know, I can only be me. I can't be like somebody else. I can only be the best version of myself that I can be. That's it. And I'm okay with that. If you want another flavor, then you get another flavor. But with me, what you see is what you get. And I'm okay with that. But you got to respect that. Well, I would like for you to be like so and so. Well, no, that then you go with so and so if that's what you want. You know. Now, if it's a situation where I'm willfully not doing something that I should be doing, then that's a different problem. That's a whole new different conversation. But if I'm striving to do the best I can, and that's not enough, then that you have to realize that you can only can't squeeze what's it? Can't squeeze with carrots or juice or something, not a carrot or something like whatever you do. You can't do it. So you can't squeeze something that's not there. Is what I'm saying. If it's not there. So you have to excuse me. I'm a little bit tired tonight, so I don't know if you can tell that. Somebody stole my phone, and I got another phone. I was trying to get my text switched over. I was there 3 hours while they were trying to attempt to get my text messages on my new phone, which they never did. So that wore me out. Wore me out. You know, if somebody knows somebody that has an iPhone, if somebody out there has an iPhone that you're not using, you want to give away, donate, please let me know. Because I went from iPhone to Android. I'm not sure. It's been so long since I had Android, I had missed it, but now I'm missing my features on my iPhone. So if y'all know somebody that has an iPhone that wants to, that's not using it, and not an old phone that's 20 years old, I can't do nothing with that, but something that please reach out to me, let me know. Again, respect means valuing the other person's individuality, their opinion. Don't dismiss a person's opinion. Respect a person's opinion. Don't say, don't just say, thank you, sister. I appreciate it. Can't squeeze blood out of turn. See it. That's what happens when you're tired. I don't know if it's a combination of you being tired, getting older, or both. But I'm telling you, I was at that store 3 hours waiting for them to try to get my phone, and I'm telling you, I was about bonkers. After sitting there, and they tell me it's going to take a few minutes. Give me a few more minutes. Give me a few more minutes. So I was a little bit tired. But can't squeeze blood out of turn. I'm glad that you're listening here. But you got to respect me. The person, individuality, their opinion. Everybody has an opinion, but you may not agree with that person, but you can respect their opinion. Be respectful of a person's opinion. You want somebody to respect your opinion. How are you going to have a relationship with somebody, and every time they say something, you're not going to respect their opinion? But you want everybody to respect your opinion. That's self-absorbed and self-centered. Thank you. All right. Appreciate that. Says both. Yeah. You have to respect opinions, have set boundaries. Even when you disagree, you treat each other with kindness and dignity. Now, I'm Pentecostal. When I was living in Evansville, I had a lot of Baptist friends, a lot of Church of God in Christ friends. And this is what they told me. They said, that Bishop Walton, listen, we know that we don't agree with everything, but I respect you. Because I don't go around beating people. I don't have to agree with you, but I don't have to beat you down either. That's not godly like. The only person Jesus dealt with people who intentionally did wrong, intentionally, willfully sin. But for most part, those people, he showed mercy, he showed love, and he showed compassion. We got to learn respect and compassion for people. If you're going to have a healthy relationship with anybody, you got to have the ability to show compassion for them. Balance and effort. These are a few things. Relationships should feel mutual. Both parties should contribute emotionally, mentally, and sometimes practically, without one person constantly giving more than they receive. In other words, I said there are people who are just takers. They always want to take. They always want to give. They want what have you done for me lately? But I've seen people. They're nothing but the partner expressing their blood suckers. They suck the life out of you. They give. There's some folks. Anytime you do something for them, you gotta pay them. And I've noticed people like that, they're always struggling. People who have a giving spirit, most of the time, God blesses them to give. You're not going to be able to have a giving spirit without resources to give, and God bless you with the resources to give. Some people, it's always about me. You got to be willing to give. You want a healthy relationship, give. Don't be always taking. Be willing to give sometime. Be willing to show some love for somebody. Take somebody out to dinner. Many times I take my friends out to dinner. I say, hey, let's go out to dinner. I got a good friend, Bishop Amos. He and I go out to eat. One time he'll pay for mine. Next time I'll pay for his. I have a number of preachers we do that. Of course, some of y'all out there, I want to put y'all on blast, but some of y'all owe me a meal now. Y'all need to pay up. I had one friend, every time I see him, I say, it's time for you to take me out again. But that's not Bishop Amos. Bishop Amos is pretty liberal, so I give him a pass. I don't want anybody to think I'm talking about him, but it is. I think it is about time for you to take him out the next time. Also, if anybody know him, tell him that he can take his friend back out to dinner again. But you gotta have friends where you can communicate that you have a good time. Bishop Amos and I, and a number of other friends, we get together, we laugh, we have a good time, we respect one another. That's a healthy relationship. We respect each other. We don't go past any boundaries. And friends there, is there when you need them. A friend, if you consider yourself to be a person's friend, and you're not there when they need you, then you're really not showing yourself to be friendly. The Bible says, he that has friends must show himself friendly. I don't care how you fix up, how you dress up, how you say it. If you're not there for your friend, then you're not a friend. You're not a friend. If you're not there when that person needs you, you are not a friend. I don't care what type of excuse. Unless you laid up in a hospital, both arms, legs tied, and you can't get to a phone, can't even hold to the phone, then you're not a friend. And people make it up. Well, I would have been there, but no, that's I don't care. That's not a friend. You can fix it up. You can justify it. That's not a friend. A friend is going to make that effort. Well, I'm not like that. No, a friend is going to make the effort. A friend is going to go above and beyond. That's what a friend. Now, there may be an associate. If you're an associate, then you may not be willing to go the extra mile. But if you're a true friend, am I talking about? If somebody's on here agree with me, let me know if you agree with me or if you disagree with me. Maybe you think I'm off base, but that's my definition of a true friend. And sometimes people say, well, that's you. Well, I don't ask anything of anybody that I'm not willing to do myself. I'm gonna say again, I'm not asking anything of anybody that I'm not willing to do myself. Again, sometimes both people contribute mutually, emotionally, mentally, and sometimes practically. It's give and take. Emotional safety. I think I'm gonna stop on that one. It's important to feel safe enough to be your authentic self, to be vulnerable, make mistakes, and grow together without fear of judgment or manipulation. If you got a friend that's going to criticize you every time you do something wrong, and you don't feel comfortable talking to them, they're not a friend. It's nothing like having someone that you can talk to and just be yourself. I have friends, they can share anything with me, and they know it's not going to go past me. But I will say this right here. In many relationships that I found that where there's infidelity involved, the one person found that they could not feel comfortable talking to their spouse, but they found someone else who they could talk to that was not critical, that was not judgmental, and just was willing to listen to them. That should not be the case. Especially if you're married, you should be in a relationship where that husband and that wife feels comfortable to be themselves, to be transparent. If they say I'm being tempted to steal, I got a problem. I'm not stealing, but I just feel tempted. This is just an example. If say if my wife says that, baby, I just feel like I just want to steal something. I just want to steal something. You don't need somebody to say, what is wrong with you? So you need somebody, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but you know that stealing is wrong. It's ungodly. You shouldn't do that. And whatever I can do to help you with that, I'm willing to help you. You want somebody, are you crazy? You stealing? I knew this. You don't need somebody to badger you and beat you, especially when you're sharing with them something maybe sensitive to you. Because if you If you don't feel like that you can talk to a person and share those sensitive subjects with them, they're gonna find somebody else to talk to. Because if they have a need to get out there, and there's gonna be someone who's willing to listen to them, and hopefully it's somebody that has their best interest. Because sometimes people can be facetious and act like they're so concerned. Oh yeah, tell me about it. Oh, tell me about. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Tell me about it. And then next thing you know, they want to tell all your business. But and the reason why you told them because there was that need to just get out of your system. Many times when I'm counseling, sometimes a lot of clients they talk to me because they have a need to just share some things. I used to work with Suicide Crisis Line. People call it Suicide Crisis Line because they have a need to express themselves. And I was there listening. I used to be a telephone operator, and on Wednesday, it would be 46 years since I started with the phone company. I probably make a post on Facebook 46 years ago. I used to be a telephone operator. People call operator. People call operator just to talk. They need somebody to talk to. Operator, can you talk? What do you mean, can I talk? I'm working. I can't. What's on your mind? What's up? What you got to say? I wasn't there to be a friend. I was there to be an operator. So I may not have been the most courageous person. No, I got to get you on here and get you off this line. But I had people just call operator because they just needed somebody to talk to. There are a lot of people that need somebody to talk to. There's somebody who's not going to be judgmental, that's not going to be critical, that's not going to talk about them, and who will be honest with them. By the same token, if you're going to be transparent and honest with somebody, you need to be willing to talk to somebody and be willing to receive positive feedback. So if Mrs. Wallen said, "Honey, I got urge to steal," which that's just hypothetical. I can say anybody, but I said, and then if I say, "Well, you know what, that's wrong," well, I know I shouldn't have said anything to you. No, you got to be willing to accept the truth. If you're sincere, you got to be willing to accept the truth. And you need somebody who's going to speak truth to your life. Because sometimes people want people to listen to them and people to talk to them, but they don't want to be corrected. They don't want in love. I'm not talking about somebody badgering, but if I'm telling somebody I got a stealing spirit, I need somebody who can tell me, bro, that's wrong. If I tell somebody I got a lying spirit, I need somebody to say, all liars should have their part. Now I love you. God's able to forgive you. Jesus told him, Jesus said, now listen, I'm healed. He said, but this is what I want you to do. He said, go and sin no more. At least some worse come upon you. He didn't just say, I'm going to heal you and bless your little heart. No, I healed you, but I don't expect you to be in the same situation come this time next year. You should have grown past that. In healthy relationship, there should be a growth. You shouldn't be going around in circles. You should be growing in the relationship. In a healthy relationship, there should be growth. You should not be in the same place today as you were 10 years. Y'all shouldn't be discussing the same thing today that you are doing. There has to be a growth. There has to be a level of maturity in any healthy relationship. If a pastor, a member of church, you gotta have respect. You have respect for the pastor. Pastor has to have respect for the members of the church. But if you come to pastor got this problem. Well, I didn't want to say nothing to you, pastor, because I know you don't tell me the truth. Sometimes people don't want to tell people because they don't want to change. Because they don't want to change, then they just want you to tell them what they want to hear. But a true friend is not going to just tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you what you want to hear, and they're going to tell the truth, but they're going to tell it in love. It's the way that you present it to people. It's how you talk to people is important. How you talk is as important as what you say. I'm going to say again, how you talk to a person. Sometimes people can be so condescending they talk down to you. You don't need somebody that's going to talk down to you. You need somebody that's going to talk to you respectfully and kindly. But with a soft answer, not somebody that's going to be harsh and abrasive. I don't want to deal with anybody on the job, in the church, whatever it is. Sometimes, especially when you get a certain age, you're not going to tolerate anyway. I'm not going to tolerate anybody talking down to me. I don't care who you are, because I'm grown, you grown. I don't care. I don't care who you are. If you're the presiding bishop, I don't care. I think I'm the presiding bishop. He and I have an excellent relationship. I have the utmost respect for him, and he has utmost respect for me. Wouldn't even have to worry about that. Never would have to worry about that because he knows how to respect people. And that's probably why God has blessed him so much, because he knows how to respect people. It's a different when you're very respectful. We have to learn how to respect people. I don't care. Sometimes people have a little office, little position, and they condescend to everybody. But I think Bishop Brooks, I can call him right now and talk to him. And I know he don't have a whole lot of time. I wouldn't talk to him 3 or 4 minutes because the man's busy. But that's what, friend. I respect the boundaries. I know he's busy, and so we have to understand. Uh, Respect people's boundaries. Respect friendships. You know, don't take relationships for granted. Don't take anything for granted. Don't take people for granted. Respect what they do. Set boundaries. Um, and when you have issues, be willing to talk those issues out. But no one said anything to me about why these folks are not getting married. Somebody, maybe this is another session, but I'd like to know, type in the message, why are these folks not getting married? Young folks are not getting married, and they go a long time and not getting married. And when we're coming up, some of us may have gotten married too young, but then some of us we at least got married as we want to do the right thing. I want to know how these folks who can get married, not folks, some women are trying to find the right guy, and the guy's not there. Some guys trying to find the right woman. But the question: are you looking? Especially men, is the greatest response on men. Are these young men looking for wives, or what are they trying to do? Somebody answer the question for me. These young men, at a certain age, are they looking for a wife, or are they afraid to get married, or are they afraid of commitment? What is it? Do they want to be married, or they feel like they can play around? Maybe we'll talk about that in another session. I started off with that. I'm going to end with that. I want to know about that. Talk about healthy relationships. So you heard tonight we talk about relationship. Appreciate those who are tuned in. Sometimes people, I have so many people tell me I watch the program, but I don't say anything. Well, I would encourage you to give a comment. Please share with us. Please share with us this broadcast afterwards. Please share. Let us know that you on here. Please leave a comment, say something. Let us know that you're on here, that you enjoy this. If there's something, we have some very interesting topics that are coming up real soon. But let's continue to pray. Pray for those. There are a lot of people that are grieving. My good friend, Brother Todd Michael Gill, he lost his youngest sister right before the program. He was by the house. We were talking and pray with him. I want to pray for him. So he'll be traveling to Detroit. Her funeral homegoing service will be this coming Friday. So if you know Brother Todd Gill, Sister Crystal Gill, or the Gill family, please send them a word of prayer. Reach out to them, send them a line, send them a postcard. Let them know that you're thinking about them. These are times when people need friends and family most when they're going through, when they're bereaving. I think I want to give a shout out to Agape Apostolic Church on Saturday. I was able to do a grief and loss seminar, very good grief and loss seminar. A lot of people were touched by that seminar. It's something needful. People are grieving. People need to find ways to help process that grief. And I've been blessed to write a number of books on grief and loss. If you're going through grief and loss and you need material, please reach out to me. Able to do that. Also, want to invite you to Light of World Worship Center Bible study this coming Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. At 5200 North Shaylin Avenue. We've had some very, very, very good Bible studies. We talked about relationships that matter, what we talked about in September. In October, we talked about the cost of discipleship. And we're going to deal with. I got two different subjects. I'm trying to decide what I want to talk about for the month of November. We're getting closer. Can you believe that this December is almost here and this year is almost over? One more month before this year is over. Wow, unbelievable. And listen, I'm going to encourage you to be prayerful, be careful. If you're not doing things coming Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m., we normally let out right at 8 o'clock. We pretty prompt, 8 o'clock. You get a powerful word from God. It's the 5200 North Shaylin Avenue It's inside Lawrence United Methodist Church. It's entrance number 4 is near the rear of it. Then we have our sign out by the door that you can see, LOTW sign. Listen, God bless you. Thank you all for tuning into this week's episode. It's my turn now. I want you to be blessed. Put God first. Be careful. Be prayerful as we go through this holiday season. Remember, a lot of people deal with what they call seasonal depression because they're missing loved ones. A lot of people, this is their first year going with Thanksgiving with our loved one, the first year going with Christmas with our loved one. So let's be mindful and reach out to someone.